On the heels of the latest ITV scandal with, of course, the This Morning presenter Philip Schofield, is this now brand new television scandal. Yes, the one that's literally burning up the BBC. So what is the latest and really what is truly happening behind the scenes? As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning. Neil Sean here in the very heart of London. And yes, this is one of the biggest breaking stories to come out over the last 48 hours. It's all about a BBC presenter, apparently non-entertainment and non-sport, who, while we're recording this, is yet to be revealed. Now, the bigger problem is this. The BBC are facing a lot of backlash, as you can imagine, because this is a rather serious situation. Now, according to my sources, basically, this particular incident was highlighted to BBC management way back in May and apparently has not been dealt with accordingly. As ever, we have to say allegedly. But what has happened in the usual way, this sort of backhanded way that the BBC deals with these things, is it's blown a light on social media with people being openly named. Naturally now litigation is ensuing because certain individuals have had to come out and refute those claims, and rightly so. And you know, when you think about it, if the BBC had have dealt with it swiftly and said, well, no, this is the person, they've now been removed, X, fired, whatever, let's move on. I think people would have moved on from this story rather quickly. A lot of people have been asking me, do I know who that person is? Naturally, working in the industry, I knew about this for some time. But as ever, people say, well, why don't you go on camera and reveal? Well, the bottom line is, this is what I find strange about people. There is a thing called the legal system, and there can be legal recourse, there can be super injunctions, there can be all sorts of situations that are attached to these particular cases. It's not as simple as you think. The other bigger problem now that the BBC has, though, if you could add any more to the pot, is this. A former person, very much senior in the BBC, has suggested that rich people now should pay more for their TV licenses. That's right. I think this is going to go down well. And the bottom line really for this situation is that they believe that rich people can afford it because obviously they take on things like Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus. They're used to paying more for streaming services. The other side of the coin, which I've told you previously here on the show, is that the BBC do not go into areas where they believe people are not simply paying the TV license. The areas I'm talking about, simply because they're too frightened. What they do is try and bully people who are of a certain age, perhaps the pension age, the retirement age, and the super rich, who they feel will be embarrassed into paying it. Once again, it's a product that's falling apart. It's all down to these particular individuals who are truly running the BBC into the ground. But talking of presenters, so many people over here in the United Kingdom are simply fed up to the back teeth of paying for presenters who truly they don't think are worth their money. Yes, we're talking about the likes of Claudia Winkleman and Gary Lineker. But back to the latest scandal. What will happen? Well, with the former Home Secretary Priti Patel now on the case, everything will have to come out, as she said, in a transparent way. But more importantly, this will be very, very embarrassing and possibly make the Philip Schofield scandal almost seem in the shade, if that's possible. As ever, it's a developing story, and when I know more, you'll know more. We're telling you as much as we can right now in the legal frame. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.